What's up? This is the sort of long put off, hopefully long awaited companion to the last collection update I did. This is sort of the more black metal and music of that nature um, weighted video, I suppose. I meant to do this pretty much in the days following the noise update. However, yeah, I got a new job. So I was starting that in the past week, and other than that, I just haven't gotten around to it for a variety of factors. But let's go. So the first one we have bit of a bit of a compilation because it's material from 2015 and 2017. Um, Sort of black metal, noise ish, kind of variety of genres. A project dark ambient shit like that. Probably a project you should all be familiar with. It's one of Max Descartes' more well-known creations. This is Hypnotic Black Metal by KFR. Now this kind of came out a while back. The pre-order must have been late July, early August, and this came in like September or so. Um, Here you go. Here's a look at it. If we can avoid the glare. Now all of this art is actually done in blood, as is his style. Possibly why the pre-order went out so early compared to when the CD itself dropped. So could be that. And you can tell there's definitely a distinct difference. Like some of the stuff is older sounding. Some of it there's the newer material. He does different things vocally. It's kind of interesting. Uh, this was what was it? Copy, yeah, 11 out of 33. So that's kind of cool. Um, Not kind of cool. It's cool. And I jumped on it because I wanted to get it. I was pretty into like dark ambient stuff like that. Uh, that time of year. Even though this turned out to be more the raw black metal type of type of deal as opposed to dark ambient, still cool. And I was watching a lot of those videos he was putting out and looking at a lot of his art on Instagram, so I was kind of feeling him for that time, which is why I picked that up. The next one we have is going to be some. This is a split. Comes from two different bands, sort of in the Anglosphere, I'll say, because one of them's Australian, one of them's from the United Kingdom. Now, they're both pretty raw as far as black metal goes, although one of them is definitely also influenced by punk. It's not political, otherwise I would say rack, but not. It's just not worth applying to the situation. It'd be the split between Carved Cross and Sump. Sump being the sort of black punk project from the United Kingdom, and Carved Cross being a Australian raw black metal band I shouldn't really have to talk about because lots of other people talk about them more, have more of their releases, have more money to spend on them. Now this is put out. Here's the information on it. Who's put out by all the fucking. Now I can't speak to which of these labels and distros were selling them and for how long and shit, because I personally got my copy on Discogs, but they just forgot to scalp it, so then I saw it on Go to Works the next week, but I was like, oh well, fucking not having to ship in from China, not the price wasn't even higher on Discogs, so I was like, screw it. This is one of those nice little printer paper fold outs, and I think in general I like these patterns here. I like this. I think the skull and the inverted cross are a bit goofy, but that's just me. So 2 tracks on the Carved Cross and 4 on the Sump side. This one's just got a really long name. So we've got Moss and Mold envelop one's final place of rest. That is what I would say is the um, best of the two carved cross tracks. I think I prefer the carved cross material. As far as raw black metal go, even though it isn't the black punk project on the split, this is very energetic, fast, exciting raw black metal. This isn't really your more introspective, bleak type of material. Here are the labels. I thought it was because I put it on at 33. And while I do like the carved cross side better, you have to admit the sump label is pretty cool. There's a lot going on with these lines and the little snowflake. Even though I don't understand what the snowflake is doing there, it's still cool. So both of these songs follow a similar structure. I just think Moss and Mold, Envelop One's Final Place of Rest, is more interesting. On the sump side, it drops all affectations of introspection, because we've got like fucking song titles like Black Tombstone, Forced into Bondage, Live for Evil, and When Satan Appears, as opposed to like that long word salad I'm not going to give you again, and then what is it? Domination of the Will, which is kind of thought provoking, even if the song isn't as much as its predecessor. This video is turning out really rambly. I don't know how I feel about that. So there you go. There's Sump and Carved Cross. Shouldn't have to go into that. I say shouldn't have to. This is all my decision. I don't have to do any of this. I don't feel the need to go into these projects too much because there are other people on YouTube that'll talk your ear off about them. And really not much to say about that. This next one is not a recent release like the last two. It's not even black metal. It is a compilation of rehearsals, live material, and then just even, finished and whatever. It's a lot of different material by one band. This is the oldest record in my collection, actually. Put out in 97. This is 45 Grave, Autopsy. As I say, it's a bit of a compilation. I'm not sure if there's live material, although I do know there are rehearsals on it. Kind of irritating, actually, because one of their more well-known songs, riboflavin flavored, non-carbonated, polyunsaturated blood, right? That song is actually one of the rehearsals. It's pretty catchy, like when you actually listen to it, but in its more raw, unpolished form, didn't really have the same energy, I'd say. Here's the pretty glossy too. Here's the back. Got one of those nice collages. It really kind of speaks to the era in which this was released. Here's the tracks. As I say, a lot of songs on here. Put out by Restless Records in 1987. All rights reserved. And then the LP again kind of dates itself, as it's got this really dominant Restless Records logo. Side 2. Very interesting. This isn't one I put on too terribly often, although I will occasionally when I'm in that kind of mood. Assuming I've left that video public. The fucking seasonal music taste video I did like September of 2017 goes more into detail on that. Not to plug my own shit. I'm trying to get through this because I don't know how much memory I have. As I say, it's female-fronted death rock, or goth music, whatever you want to call it. So not my go-to genre, I suppose, but it's got its appeal, you know. And then this stuff in particular, it's I mean it's fun. It's fun. The next two records are not fun. Um, they're both by same project. One of them came out just recently, and I got it in the mail. The last one this time last year when it came out. They're both vinyl pressings of what was previously just two tape-only releases, I believe. They may have been remastered. I don't know. Don't know off the top of my head. So yes, this first album, definitely easily one of my favorite albums ever. The video where I look at it when I first get it in is like one of my least watched videos. So here, I'll break it out again. This is Suicide Oppression by Thy Light. For those who are unaware, is a Brazilian depressive suicidal black metal project. The man Paulo Bruno, who played all the instruments, he didn't write the lyrics. That was another individual, but he lived in Brazil at that time. He now resides in Scotland, and I think this project is being discontinued. So this one was put out by Fallen Empire and Eisenwald. Picked this up last year because as I say, it's one of my favorite albums. I just had to have it. It is, I believe it is. It does sound remastered because the tape. I never had the tape, but I pretty much just stole the MP3s of the tape version off the internet or tape version, the old mix, and it sounds a lot different than this. I think this is more balanced, but the vocals and the piano and the riffs just were a lot more prominent in the mix, and it's just absolute sorrow. I think now it's a bit more balanced. It's still absolutely it's beautiful to listen to. Personally, I find it a pretty private experience, so I don't quite like how. Did I show you the gatefold? How in the gatefold it's got like scenes of like, even though it is graveyards on this one, it's got like wide open spaces. I'd prefer the tape cover where it's Paolo Bruno standing outside a doorway with like it's, oh my god, just look at the tape cover, it's really great. Labels here, nooses. I did another video on this, but no one's fucking seen it, so looking at it again. This comes with a sleeve insert type of shit, which the record doesn't actually fit into, so fuck it, not gonna use it. And a poster, which is of a graveyard. No, excuse me. The graveyard is just the gatefold. The poster is of a window with like wind blowing through the curtains and shit. I'll show you right now. Bro. Okay, it's stuck. Here's my poster. It says, depressive music for depressive people. It's this window. I might hang this up actually at some point in the future. Maybe even the other one. Screw it. I've got a bunch of posters that I've been meaning to hang up. Even hang up some of them. I might even hang some of them in this set here. They won't be spray mounted like this one. They'll be in frames because this was just something that Vomit Stain gave me for free. So, and I just say insert with Forest, some credits, and lyrics on this side. I'm starting to rush because before I knew it, we got to fucking 14.5 minutes on this video so far. And I'm probably not going to edit this if I can't help it. Like, seriously. I do not like editing. I've reshot videos because I was going to have to edit them with the original takes. Not that it's not fun, it just... I put off shooting videos, I put off editing videos. It's a whole big cycle of procrastination here. Alright, so the last record we're going to look at in this video is Light No Tomorrow Showdown. That was the demo. This is like, I forget if it's considered a full length or an EP, but here we go. This was put out by Past Productions in collaboration with Weary Bird. Had to order this from China. Now, nothing against these companies, these enterprises, these interests. This isn't as nicely put together as Suicide Depression, which is okay because it's not as good of an album as Suicide Depression. Got this like wax paper shit here, plastic on the inside. Here's the LP. I forget if this was like, I don't remember. This is like this yellow color. I didn't ask for this in particular, or this yellow and white marbled thing. And once again, same image on both labels, except it's this nice little raven, as opposed to nooses. But I was like, this was the cheapest, or something. I don't remember how I ended up with the yellow. It wasn't like somewhere like, you order from a merchant on Discogs and they don't remember what color the shit is, and it turns out to be really cool looking. This was either like the cheapest or something. I wanted to get the silver of Suicide Depression almost, or I thought about it, but it would have cost a good bit more. Black is just more fitting for that record, I definitely think. This one also comes with a post. Oh, and once again, a forest with lyrics. Once again, these lyrics are written in like this, like PixArt font. And this is kind of like warped here. Like this isn't, like I say, it's not as nicely put together as Suicide Depression. Not to say this album is horrible. There's a lot more piano and keyboard bits. It's a lot more polished. I want to say the vocals aren't just like shrieks like they are in Suicide Depression. Well, they're not just. There's a little bit of like the occasional whisper on it. Got this poster. I believe it is. It's not even like this mountain just looks Brazilian, so this could even be Brazil. And it's got Light and No Tomorrow Showdown. It's cool, I guess, but it's just not Suicide Depression. Although I do like it's not bad because it's the Light album, but it's definitely not as good as not only is the music not as touching and poignant and depressing and all that shit, it's also not as cohesive a whole as Suicide Depression, which kind of has a plot to it. You've got intro to my end, it's just a keyboard track, and you've got, hold on, I want to get the wording right. It's not that I don't know these songs well, it's just that I need to get the wording right. Then you've got In My Last Morning, kind of a little bit of a double entendre there, and then fucking, and I Finally Reach My End. Okay, he's got like his last day. A crawling worm in a world of lies, and I am the bitter taste of gall. These are kind of, they're not filler, they're really good, they're not filler, but they're the bridge of this story, which ends in, and I Finally Reach My End, which is, wow, it's quite the song. It's funny, there's, I think the most viewed version of that song on YouTube actually cuts off about 3 minutes. It's like a 14-minute song or something, but it's only like the first 10 or 11 on YouTube. And that was when I first listened to, and it ends partway through a sample of like some birds chirping, and it to me made it seem like it felt as if, his sorrows had come to an end. He'd not actually killed himself and reached his end. Like a morrow had actually dawned. It was the next day, and he was like, oh, I lived. But then when you listen to the actual song, it goes back into black metal, and it ends in a dually sorrowful note, I would say. So that was a complete tangent. Kind of rushed through the first 3 records, only to spend the next 5 minutes talking about Thy Light. But there you go. There'll be more updates coming soon, and I really don't know how much more memory I have, so take it easy.